Hello Australia, welcome to episode 727 of The Couch. Welcome back. Apologies for last week, I was a bit sick, but I'm back this week with a brand new show. Talking Travel with Steve Collins is back. He's been to Sarawak in Malaysia. We're going to find out all about there. Talking customer service, Chris Moyer's got some more tips for us about improving customer service. We're also talking to Dee Stepanovsky, I think I've got that right this time, Street Chaplains of Perth. She's the director of that here in WA. We'll find out the work they do. Stacey Gittins, an author with a brand new book about dinosaurs and COVID. Talking movies and streaming with Paul Elwyn. And then What's on Perth with Sandy Angie, councillor for the City of Perth. Music, we've got Six Strings performing a classic song for us as well. Big Couch, stick around for the next hour. It starts now.
It's showtime on the couch. Hey, it's showtime on the couch. You can see it from your house. You can see it from your house. It's showtime on the couch with Fred and the best in town. You can see it from your house. Yeah, it's showtime on the couch. Oh, oh, oh.
Hope you're all doing well wherever you might be around Australia. Travel time, as you see all the havoc in the airports at the moment, but it is worth getting away. Our very own Steve Collins went away for a week and a bit, and he's back now to tell us all about it. Let's welcome Steve on the couch, talking travel. Welcome back.
Well, thanks very much, Fred, and can I say it was my first overseas trip in 2.5 years, and boy, did I enjoy myself.
What was it like at the airport when you left Perth?
Quiet, really, because
Lucky.
there were only I was flying to Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia. That was on Malaysian Airlines, and there was also a Jetstar going to Bali.
Was it easy? Was it relatively easy, or was you had to be there 2 hours earlier and all that?
I would suggest you get there 3 hours earlier at the moment, because it's a little bit chaotic. Because when I was checking in, it was unclear which line you had to queue up for, because there's people who hadn't checked in and there was people who were just doing the bag drop. That was not well signposted at all. And the queue for Jetstar was very, very long, because people are flooding back to Bali.
And they're the only airline at the moment that will fly
They're
you
the
direct.
only airline that is going up there. I think Air Asia are starting again very shortly. But the other part of it, going through immigration, etc., was pretty easy, and even security. Beautiful. Because there's not so many people there. So that part is easy.
Now, you took off, didn't you? You took off to go to Sarawak, didn't you?
Yeah, I was going. Yeah, well, I flew to KL, Kuala Lumpur, and then flew to Kuching in Sarawak. Had an overnight in KL because of the time the flight gets in, and that was great. It was good to be on the plane.
It's nice to travel again, isn't it?
It is nice to travel again, and I had a night in KL on the way to Sarawak, and going to Sarawak. It's only about a bit under 2 hours to go from KL to Kuching.
And would you say they're making travellers welcome again? Have they prepared everything for you when you got there?
Absolutely. The thing about Malaysia is most people are still wearing masks in most places. Now, I don't know if that's the law or whether it's personal choice, but masks are being worn most places these days, which is fine. You feel pretty safe when they do that anyway. Going through customs and immigration up there was no problem. Getting to Sarawak, Kuching, I was picked up at the airport and taken to the Damai Beach Resort, which is absolutely fantastic. It's about a 50-minute drive out of Kuching. Depends on the traffic. Yep. And it is dead set gorgeous. But I was up there for the Rainforest World Music Festival. It was their 25th anniversary. The last couple of years they've just done it solely online, and so this was live, and it was brilliant. But I will talk about that at a later date, because what I'm talking about today is I had one of the best adventures I've ever had. I was told we're going to go to a longhouse in the interior of Sarawak. Now, Sarawak was on the island of Borneo, which is one of the biggest islands in the world. And to get there, it was a 6-hour drive, which was fine because the roads are good. And then I had to get into a longboat for an hour's journey to this very remote.
Describe the longboat. Is this what we're seeing?
This is this is the longboats. You know, they're
that's
quite
all for you,
long,
one
but
person.
you'll also notice that they're very, very shallow,
Yes.
and they're not all that wide, Fred.
Or balanced.
So I had to get into one of those for the trip. The trip itself was absolutely fantastic.
Was that
There's
you jumping
kids
into the
off.
boat?
Oh, look, and this is me. Footage I shot in the longboat. It was just marvellous because there's a dam there. It's a big dam, so this has all been flooded, and the water's pretty crystal clear until you get further up and you go into the smaller rivers, and then it gets a bit muddier because it's a rainforest and it rains all the time there, and so the rain washes mud into it. But there we are. There's some of these little longhouses, they're called, and in the longhouse we stayed at, which we'll see in a minute, there were 36 families occupied, and they all each have their own room. Yeah, and it was probably 700 metres in length.
So the fact the name the Longhouse is purely because it is very long.
Because it is a long house,
Okay.
and the whole village lives in this one. They each have their own private rooms, if you like, and they each have their own private gardens, which are built there.
Wow.
It's really, really long. You have to first of all, we had to climb up this hill, which was, I don't know, about 200 metres up this hill. Now, it's a rainforest, so everything is wet and the mud is slippery, so you've got to be careful about what you're doing. Wow. And we all had to. This is on the longhouse now, and this gives you an example of how primitive it is, because it is a genuine longhouse, and they call themselves headhunters because they don't headhunt now, but certainly their ancestors did. This is the really, really basic kitchen we had. No electricity. Everything there was cooked over smoke. So do you
share a kitchen?
No, each family would have their own, and we were greeted with a traditional dance. There were a couple of warriors and ladies. I met the chief. The chief's only 34 years old, and it's just incredible. They turn there's only electricity at night. They turn it on from 6 p.m. to midnight.
Oh wow!
And if you want to charge your phones and stuff, it's a little bit difficult because it's pretty slow.
Do they have internet? Internet good?
Very unreliable internet. Yeah. But this was really good, and of course what happens at this is you're invited to join the dance afterwards, and me being the size I am, I knew that I was going to be invited to join the dance. This is all based on their traditions. Oh, there I am. Look, I've just made the chief temporarily. Yeah. But no, it was great. It was great fun up there. They're very, very welcoming. You have a tradition. When you walk into the longhouse, you start at the entrance as a mark of respect. You take your shoes and socks off. And that's challenging for someone who's not used to going barefoot, particularly when you're walking over rough boards, and it's not flat because it's built on a hill, so it goes up and...
So
it's very dark in there because there's no electricity. There's
can anybody
light.
take on the experience of the longhouse?
Anybody, well, they have to book it.
Okay.
You can't just roll up. So this was all booked for us. We slept like on platforms in dormitories. There were 10 of us all together.
Good
so
for
there
your
were
back.
5 to a dormitory. And we had very basic, there was only cold showers. And there were Western-style toilets, but they were very, very low. But it was fantastic. It was just
Would
fantastic.
you do it again?
Oh, yeah, because it was an adventure. And then we went out to this waterfall, which, now I had to go down this, you go out the back of the thing, and this is what I was on. And what you didn't see was the climb down. It was so steep getting down there because there's a different jetty. And it was just beautiful because the rainforest is so lush and so thick. Here is a natural log jam because what happens is trees and branches just fall in the water from old age, and the current's taken there, and it took us about half an hour to get through that log jam. This is preparing our food. What they do is they prepare the food in bamboo. They wrap up the rice and chicken and vegetables in bamboo and just throw it on an open fire and cook it. And you know what? It was just so delicious.
Very traditional.
It was fantastic. the food from the gardens, because we're eating food that were grown by the locals at the Longhouse. There's this amazing little waterfall.
Beautiful.
To get to that, I had to walk up a stream, in the middle of the stream, and the current was pretty strong. So it took us 20 minutes to get up, and then 5 minutes to get back because we were going with the current. It was just...
Looks amazing.
But look, it was a fantastic adventure.
Sounds pretty good.
It was... I used to live in the highlands of New Guinea over 50 years ago, and that was adventurous. This was even more adventurous than that. And it was just such a great experience, which is very, very hard to do. And it's not for everybody because there was a lot of discomfort. But if you want a true adventure, I would recommend it. You'll rail away from all the modern amenities and stuff like that. You are going back in time when you do it, but you are seeing unspoilt wilderness.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Would you do it again?
Oh, absolutely.
Fantastic.
But I'll be more prepared next time.
I think so as well. Tell me, Steve, for people flying from Perth to Kuala Lumpur, is that about 7 hours?
No, it's about 5.5 hours.
And then how far to?
It's just under 2 hours. It depends. It was about an hour 45.
And you flew Malaysian Airlines?
I flew Malaysian Airlines. Yeah, well, at the moment that's the only way you can get to.
It's the national airlines of Malaysia.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah, that's right. And look, it was great. Kuching is a beautiful city. I'll talk about that at a later.
Lots
at
to talk
time.
about. I'm glad to see you travelling again.
But I didn't tell you that. To get to this longhouse, it was a 6-hour drive in a bus, and then 1 hour on that longboat. And I got to like the longboats. I had to be helped in and out because they're not built for me. And there's nothing to grab onto to get out. So
I'm glad
they thought it was great because they were helping this giant in and out of a longboat. And of course I get noticed up there because I am substantially larger than the locals. But it was so welcoming, they were really good.
Nice to see you travelling again. Steve, if people want more information about your travels...
Yes, tellmewheretogo.com. Or tell me where to go also on YouTube. I'm doing a lot of stuff on YouTube now as well.
Fantastic.
It's so great to get away again.
Well done. Thank you. Nice to see you back. Look forward to your next trip. You don't know where you're going next?
Well, I know that we're going to Vietnam in October, but something might pop up between then and now. In fact, I'm sure it will.
Thanks for coming on today.
Thanks very much.
Tellmewheretogo.com.au. Please find out more about Steve's travels, and you'll find more information on there as well. And don't forget, travel insurance is really important as well.
Yes, and make sure you've got COVID with your travel insurance.
There you go. Thank you very much, Steve.
Pleasure.
We'll talk to Steve more throughout the rest of the year as well with more travel tips and information. Donate Life Week is coming up, of course, and it's all about organ and tissue transfers, or what do we call them? Donations, I guess is the word. If you missed the promo, here it is.
Life is a gift.
This Donate Life Thank You Day, we honour the generosity of all the living and deceased donors and their families.
Knowing that my husband saved lives has made us so proud.
My mum was a kind, caring and generous woman. It was only natural that she made the decision to become an organ donor.
To all donors and their families, thank you.
Thank you so much.
My life was saved by someone I never met.
Thank you. I can now live my life to the fullest.
Thanks to my donor, I can see again.
Join us in saying thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And you can get more information from Medicare offices around Australia or Centrelink offices about donating organs. Get in touch with them and find out more information. They do a great job. Somebody else that does a great job is right beside me in the studio. It is Chris Moyer. Welcome back.
Hey, Fred. Good to be back. And, I mean, we spent so much time just getting the microphone positioned to the right this time because normally I'm facing this way. So everything's new today.
And for those people who don't know, Nisha's away on a sort of working holiday. She's in the Maldives at the moment. Best place to work in, isn't it?
Absolutely.
The water looks beautiful and She looks very relaxed.
Very lucky.
And I didn't see any wine in her hands either.
No. We'll pick up the slack here, don't worry.
We will.
Yeah.
We'll try and criticise as much as we can. What are we talking about today?
Well, look, this is actually pretty cool that we're coming on the show straight after Steve on travel. So I'm talking about talking customer service, and today we're specifically talking about distractions, the things that distract leaders, particularly, or people running organisations from focusing on customer service. And I wanted to start off actually, speaking of travel, with a bit of a metaphor here. When you think about an aeroplane flying, it's really interesting that the plane pretty much flies on autopilot the whole time. Most people are aware of that. The autopilot's what gets us from A to B. But then you've got to wonder, what do the pilots do in the flight deck? Now, what the pilots do, they do three things. In fact, the autopilot enables them to do three things. The first thing is for them to focus on where the plane's going. Number two, navigate the bumps on the way. And number three, make sure the systems of the plane are working. So making sure that, you know, the fuel's pumping, the air's pumping, all that sort of stuff. So their job is to focus on those three things. The autopilot flies the plane. It's interesting.
Beautiful.
When you look at it when you look at businesses and a service perspective, you know, customer service is everything that runs an organisation. If you don't have customers, if you don't have service, the organisation doesn't run. So that's what's kind of happening. But a lot of leaders think of service kind of like, oh, we'll flick it on autopilot. You know, let them all serve because we've got better things to worry about.
Coles and Woolworths.
Well, and here's the point. So when you think about what like a pilot versus a leader, what's a leader's job? Well, leaders in a business have to, again, navigate, make sure the business is going strategically where they're going. So they leave the customer service on autopilot and they just, you know, are we going in the right direction? Number two, you know, we navigate the metaphorical bumps on the way. They're navigating the complexities around anything to do with business, weather, school holidays, whatever. So they're focusing on that. Meanwhile, customer service is running. Finally, they're paying insurances. They're you know, making sure that people get paid, payroll, IT, all of that sort of stuff.
I guess they're making sure everything around them works.
Exactly. But
the mechanism.
That's right. So that's all important. But then they leave customer service to run. But here's the thing. A pilot knows that that an autopilot system can break, and therefore they've got to be always monitoring it. Whereas leaders, to be honest, can get very, very slack. They can say, oh yeah, look, our customer service is running on autopilot, and they focus on all these other things. They don't even realise sometimes that, you know, the autopilot's broken.
Chris, do you think with the COVID, the last 3 years, and this is just my opinion, I've noticed a lot of comments coming from the radio, do you think businesses have taken their foot off the customer service bit and they use COVID as an excuse for why things have been dropped?
Well, look, most definitely. And here's the thing. The good news about COVID, and I mean, I'm not even talking about silver lining, but the good news about COVID is that what it forced businesses to do, and I think I said this on the show 2 years ago, I think, it forced us to, or businesses to focus on what have we got to get our customers and how do we do it as quick as possible. So that's the kind of the thing. But since COVID's, you know, moved on, businesses have been inundated with the compliance of COVID. So for instance, I've been, you know, talking to people who I work with, and, you know, someone whose job would be to focus on service, their job is to go through spreadsheets to make sure that everyone's vaccinated. Now, I'm not disagreeing with the mandates. I'm saying you have people whose focus has been shifted away from what are we doing every day? What are we trying to get done? And then they're focusing instead on, do I have 600 staff members vaccinated? And you know, you're following up people because they haven't sent their certificates in. And what do you do about this? And what do you do about that?
Wasting.
So meanwhile, they're spending all of that focus elsewhere. But yet the service element is running on this robotic autopilot and it's often failing and they're not recognising that.
I think I tend to agree with you because I've bought a couple of things from big retailers and things like advertising a refrigerator for $2,000 and then I ordered that refrigerator and I can't order it. And then I rang the store and they had no answers and it came down to virtually false advertising. And then I actually got a very good manager and the manager basically said, we don't have that fridge anymore for $2,000. It's now $3,500. But he came back and said, but you know what? It's your lucky day. I'm going to give you the new model and we'll charge you the original price. And he got it delivered included in that price and he allowed me to store it for free. So to me, he went way beyond my expectations of customer service and he made me happy that I actually bought another appliance off them.
Which is great. Great recovery there. And it's always good if there's a problem to recover conscientiously, you know, as well. We talk about customer recovery another time. But I think in that moment when we think about all of the things that go wrong, like what happened to you, something clearly had happened internally that let them, you know, they got their finger off the pulse. They weren't concentrating. They were too busy doing something else, and then obviously a problem comes up with a customer.
Why do you think a lot of businesses spend more time trying to resolve what it is that caused the problem and rather than just fix the problem? See, I was always taught when I was at Medicare and Centrelink, deal with the problem, resolve the problem, and then after the customer's happy and gone, you try and find out what happened so it doesn't happen again. I think they've shifted now. I've had people on the phone where they're constantly going on about the problem rather than say, hang on, you're the customer, how do we fix it?
Yeah, look, I think on that note, people, they're all busy. And I think businesses and leaders particularly, and the best example, actually, I know you've said Medicare, but another good example is, something doesn't scan on the checkout. So they call the supervisor over.
30 minutes later.
And they quickly, even 1 second later, they come and they fix it, they fix it for that item, but they don't fix it in the system. So then, 10 minutes later, another customer comes through, they scan it again, it doesn't work. So they have to fix it manually, but they don't go into the system and actually fix it. And I think that's the key thing, that there is certainly a lack of empowerment, so that when someone on the front line experiences a problem first, that they can actually fix it for good. That's the first thing. So there's a lack of trust and empowerment on staff. But then secondly, the leaders, they're too busy focusing on a lot of other things, that they're not kind of going, well, hang on a second, that little roadblock that happened, we've got to eliminate that. Because then what's interesting is leaders or managers, they go, oh my God, I spend all my time fixing problems. God, I don't have any time in the day. It's one of those days. But if they looked at eliminating the problems,
fixing it the first time,
or fixing it, in the back end so it never occurs again, then all of a sudden they'll have free time.
I think that you make a good point there. And this is the thing, we're obsessed by I find that it's all to do with cost. Companies are going, oh my God, that's going to cost me $10. Whereas sometimes that $10 that you've given away can save you thousands in the future of complaints and losing customers. I mean, I look at the airlines at the moment, and I know you've got an airline background as well, with Jetstar cancelling flights, 10 minutes before they're due to fly out. And you don't even hear about giving people airline tickets, hotel accommodation. They're not even giving that to people. And I find that amazing. Whereas that used to be the first thing they'd say to people, here's a little box with a little meal, here's a drink, and we're going to look after you as well. You don't hear that much.
They're supposed to look after people. I mean, we can do probably another segment on airlines one day, because I know there's heaps of stuff. It's a very unique industry at the moment, but they're supposed to look after customers. And look, it's all about goodwill, generosity, and that whole the other analogy that's very common is there's a hair in my soup or there's a fly in my soup, and the restaurant refuses to admit that they put the hair in the soup. It turns into this big thing. It goes on Instagram. It makes the news. It makes the couch.
Nobody goes there.
And then all of a sudden, they're giving the person, instead of just replacing the soup for free, they're giving them 10 free meals to get their reputation back.
Or they spend all the time attacking that person and belittling them and making them look discredited.
That's right.
And I think sometimes we waste so much effort when you can avoid. It's not that important.
That's right.
Where can people find out more about you, Chris, if they want some help with customer service?
Or any help with customer service or any topics that we can chat about, head to my website, chrissmoyer.com, or email me directly, chris@chrissmoyer.com, and give you some ideas for some next segments.
I think he's back in a couple of weeks. Thank you, Chris, as always.
Thank you, Fred.
And look forward to having you back. We're going to take a break here on the couch. Coming up next, we're going to be talking about street chaplains with Dee. She's the state manager of that organisation. Stick around, we'll talk to her next. Welcome back to the couch. It's always great to highlight local community. I call them charities, I guess. The street chaplains are one of those that do an amazing job in the community. They're unseen and unknown to a lot of people, but they're there and they're helping people out in the streets, and they do more than just that. With us today is the State Director for Street Chaplains, Dee Stepanovsky. Thank you for coming in today.
Thank you for inviting me, friend.
Nice to have you here. There are so many community organisations that do amazing work, and yours is one of them. I've not heard about you before, and I know you've been there. Tell us a little bit about street chaplains and what they do.
So, Fred, we're going into our 15th year, and you've probably not seen us because we keep very different hours. We are out on the streets wherever there is an entertainment precinct from 11 p.m. till 4, 5, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning.
And what do you do when you say you're out in those hours? What type of work do you do?
We're out there looking for the vulnerable, and that may be because they are affected by alcohol, drugs, violence, or experiencing homelessness.
And what do you do once you find the homeless or the drug-affected kids or the vulnerable? What do you do? How do you help them?
So the alcohol-affected ones, our hope and desire is to get them home safely. And if they are alcohol affected, we will clean them up because they will not get accepted in an Uber or taxi coated in vomit.
Yep.
So we'll clean them up, we'll hydrate them, we'll get them into their taxi and Uber with a vomit bag and water and get them home.
So you do a lot of support services. Do you ever find that even though you try and help some of these people, they're too affected and sometimes they can be violent themselves towards you?
Not really. Not in 15 years we haven't seen that, but we will get a lot of phone calls from the nightclub owners or the police because we do carry a full first aid kit, including a defibrillator, which we do have to use.
Now, 15 years doing a job, you're obviously good at what you do, and you're obviously very relied on by the community. Do you know roughly how many people you service or look after yearly?
Not how many people, although we do have reports of every single person that we do help. But I'll give you an example. In Northbridge alone last year, during COVID, we still gave out over 3,000 bottles of water.
Amazing, isn't that? Now COVID's over, would you say that it was a tougher time for you and your organisation during COVID, or do you think it's pretty much the same no matter what?
It was a different time. Homeless people are still homeless during a lockdown. And so we would be out there during the day and helping those ones, face masks, water, first aid.
The things that you've seen that most people haven't seen, unless we see it on the news, and I was talking to you off air about Leederville last week, West Leederville I think it was, or East Leederville. There was a violence that came out of a hall, a party. Are they the sort of things that you deal with most, or what would take up most of your time, do you think?
So we do see some terrible violence from time to time, and not just in Northbridge, we're in Fremantle, Scarborough, Hillary's, but it is mostly people who have gone out to have a really good night and something's gone wrong.
Tell me about the story you were telling me before. Someone could be out to dinner with their partner or loved one. What can happen to them these days?
So people think it's just the pretty young girls that get their drinks spiked. Unfortunately, that's not the case. So if you're out for dinner and you look, well off in any way, you could have your drink spiked. You'll go outside because you feel unwell and you'll end up vomiting somewhere and you'll be robbed.
Isn't that sad that this is happening in society more and more? Now, you said something as well, it's not just Northbridge. So the area that you would cover, is there a limit? I mean, obviously you can't be everywhere, but what areas do you look after at the moment?
So we have 12 centres across WA, from Kununurra in the north to Albany in the south, and all the way in between.
And who funds your service that you provide?
Well, we don't have any government funding, so we receive some donations from churches and some organisations, and all of our chaplains are volunteers.
It amazes me that the more and more services that people are providing from charities and government are providing less and less funding. That to me is a little bit of a joke. I mean, we've got the funding, we've got billions in surplus. What you are doing, the government clearly can't and won't do. So why aren't they funding services like yours is the question I would have. And it shouldn't be left to the public to find more funding when the government already has. Because you're obviously saving a lot of work on government.
A lot of lives.
The hospital systems as well aren't going to be inundated with people because you've looked after them and maybe got them home safely.
Look, we've been doing CPR on James Street at 3 o'clock in the morning, so we're literally saving lives.
Now, are your staff from all different backgrounds? Are they experienced in CPR? Are they medics?
Yes.
Are they nurses? Tell us some of the backgrounds people might have to work in the chaplains.
All of our chaplains have to be over 18 because we do get called into nightclubs from time to time if they have come across somebody unconscious. And in our last training, one of our chaplains was 75.
Wow. It's great that people are coming back from retirement to help other people in the community. Are you looking for people to become street chaplains?
Absolutely. We've got an information night coming up on the 25th of July.
And how do they get involved? Do they go on the website?
Please just jump on streetchaplain.com.
There's the website on screen at the moment. Say it again for us.
Streetchaplain.com.
And all they need to do is there a form online?
Yes, just register their interest and we'll follow up with them.
Now, you clearly do an amazing job. Tell me what drives you to do something like this. As an organisation, it must be hard at times.
Well, I'm a mum And so we've all, well, to be honest, if you can put your hand up and said you were an angel at 18, I certainly wasn't. And then I became a mum and I saw my children go through that nightclub phase, and we did not have street chaplains then when I was that age. And so I just want to see, this is somebody's precious son and daughter. They need to get home and sleep in their bed that night and not in a gutter in
What a
Northbridge.
wonderful outlook. I think it's a fantastic view that you have. I'm sure there's a lot of parents out there as well, Dee, that would probably say thank you very much for the work that you and your organisation does. Is there anything coming up that we can maybe get the people to support you in a way of funding? Is there anything you need and people can get in contact with you directly for funding?
Look, the thing that we use the most at the moment in winter, as you can imagine, is blankets. And so we have to have a specific type of blankets to be able to fit around our defibrillator and fit in our backpacks. But look, we are just always so thankful if people contact us through our website and see what they can help with.
There it is on screen again. Please do support them. They do an amazing job. Street chaplains. Are they only here in WA?
Only here in WA.
We're pretty lucky then. Fantastic work. And is there anything else that you need? Do you carry food supplies? Do you need clothes for those people that need clothing? Can people just contact you and maybe offer whatever they want to offer?
Yeah, we give out a lot of water, as you can imagine, because they need to be rehydrated.
Yeah, I imagine they would. Look, thank you very much. I know in 7 or 8 minutes it's very hard to promote everything that you do, but I think getting the name out there and people doing the rest, if you are interested in being involved and doing the type of work that Dee's organisation does, please contact them. You've got the website on screen. We'd love you to contact them. If you're a donor, if you're a person with a little bit more money than other people and you can afford to give some of it away for Dee's organisation, please contact Dee, and I'm sure she's more than happy to take it off you and put it to great use as well. Anything else, Dee, you want to tell us before we wrap up?
Just every single one of our street chaplains are heroes without capes.
And I guess if you see them out in the streets, say hello and thank you as well.
Give them a high five. They'd love to say hello.
Good on you, Dee. Well done, and keep up the great work. And I hope you get lots of support. And I hope the government actually gives you some funding, because I think they should. I'm sure you'd agree with that.
Thanks, Fred.
Well done. There you go, street chaplains. They do an amazing job. We'd love you to get involved with them, and they also would love you to get involved. And I think they certainly need the money, and they certainly need your support. Now, National Pyjama Day is a great organisation as well. They help raise funds and awareness for children in foster care. If you haven't caught the promo, it's coming up very soon. Here it is.
When I grow up, I'm going to be a pilot. I'm going to find a cure for diseases or help kids like me learn in the classroom. I think.
Dreams are no good if they remain just dreams. The Pyjama Foundation makes these dreams a reality by empowering kids in care with learning, life skills and confidence.
Support National Pyjama Day this year and help little people with big dreams. You can take part at work, school or make a donation. Visit nationalpyjamaday.com to register.
What a great event. Please support them in any way you can. This lovely lady as well, Stacey Gittins, is a great author. She lives in the UK. Now, we had her dad on. If you remember, her dad was the guy from the Young Doctors, a TV show from the 70s and 80s here in Australia. Well, she got in touch with me and said, Fred, would you mind giving me some support to promote this book? She's living in the UK. She's written this amazing book called Daniel's Dinosaur Dilemmas. We've got 3 to give away, but I believe we've got Stacey on Viber at the moment, or she actually might be on Skype. Let's go over to her in the UK.
Hi Fred and everybody at the couch. Thank you so much for supporting my book, Daniel Dinosaur's Dilemmas. It's a children's book which I wrote during the COVID-19 pandemic, as I looked around and I could see lots of children struggling with online learning and being away from their friends during the lockdown periods, that I wanted to create a keepsake book for them which they could share with their children in times to come and share information about the pandemic through a fun and exciting way, and through a positive story that shows that even in challenging times, positive outcomes can be found. So we wrote about a dinosaur who starts school in Wootton, and he tries desperately to fit in. He decides that he'll do everything he can to make friends, but in the process, he doesn't understand about COVID, and he doesn't understand about the procedures, and he ends up getting sent home for quite a long time, and he stays in self-isolation. But he doesn't give up. He keeps having faith And he finds that when he embraces who he is, he no longer is overwhelmed by the problem, but he becomes an answer to the problem. And the story all ends well with positive outcomes for all. So I hope that Australia can get on board to amazon.com.au, search Daniel Dinosaur's Dilemmas in the search bar, have a sneak peek at some of the pages inside, and purchase the book as either an ebook, a paperback, or a hardback. And by doing so, you'll be helping charities, because we are going to give some of the proceeds from the sale of the book to not-for-profit organisations as another way to do something positive out of what's been a really challenging time for so many people globally. So by purchasing the book, you'll be helping others and doing something positive. Thank you so much for your support, Australia. I hope you enjoy the book.
Thank you very much to Stacey as well in the UK. And Stacey has kindly given me 3 of the books to give away. So if you can't get one yourself by buying it, I'm happy to give 3 away. Now, if you'd like to win one of these books, very, very simple. You'll see the graphic on screen at the moment, down the bottom of the screen, 0439 929 929. That's our phone number. All you need to do is send your name and your address to that phone number with the code word, which is dinosaur, and your name and address. Don't forget that. And we will give that to the first 3 people that write in. All the best for the book. Please don't forget they're raising money for charity as well, so we'd love you to support them. We're going to take a break. Back with more. After this, we talk movies and streaming with Paul Elwin, and we will get the Street Chaplains back on in a few weeks' time to talk about more of the work that they do. After this. Couch, nice to have your company. Always good to talk movies, but today we're talking streaming as well with Paul Elwin. He's in the studio with us. Welcome back, Paul.
Thank you so much. Yes,
nice to have you back.
Yeah, it's been great. Wow, everything's happening. There is just a slew, a massive amount of choices you can watch in regards to movies.
I want for the money for the show. The 3 to get ready now. Go, cat, go.
The big one, if you want to see, it's Elvis. I haven't seen this myself, but my wife's seen it. They loved it. It's all about Elvis. We've got Tom Hanks as the Colonel, his manager, the evil. Yeah, he's a bad guy in this in a way, because he controls everything that Elvis does in his life, and he's got things on Elvis that'll do that. But Elvis, the main Nathan Butler playing Elvis, amazing voice.
He's an Australian, isn't he?
I don't remember that.
Someone told me last week he's an Australian. I'm not too sure what state he's in.
Well, regardless,
he's a good actor.
He can sing and play it so well.
Did he sound like Elvis? Because obviously he sang the song.
Yeah, well, there's people that have they put some snippets up of comparing it, and you're like, okay, he's definitely up there. It's not just your regular kind of impersonator. He's really doing the singing. But yeah, he does a good role. It's a huge role to fill. I mean, yeah, it's doing great. But yeah, Baz Luhrmann directing.
It's bound to be good.
It's bound to be good, but also it covers everything about Elvis. It's not taking a snippet of his life. It's actually covering quite a lot of aspects of Elvis's life. But yeah, for you music fans out there, and also Baz Luhrmann fans, I guess, it's Elvis.
There you go. It's out now. Please go out and get it and watch it for yourself and enjoy it. Thor. That's
Thor,
another
Love
one.
and Thunder. This is the 4th Thor movie, the last Thor movie, Ragnarok. I think people get the gist. It's directed by Taika Waititi. There will be a lot of humour. So if you watch the previous Thor movie, you will get this. Even the trailers give you the vibe.
Why do we have a lot of humour all of a sudden?
Thor is this cool comic character that I've always loved because he has cosmic adventures. He travels in space. He deals with gods, but everything about him is grandiose and silly. So yes, Taika Waititi kind of gets it. He says this movie is quite funny. I've heard a few people having issues where they think it's a little bit too comedic.
Yes.
But I think you've got all the characters in here, all the great actors in here doing their thing. I think it'll carry on quite well.
I think the humour works well too.
It works because throughout the whole year we've had more serious Marvel stuff, and this is finally a really good comedic one that people can go to the cinema and just enjoy just the fun. The comedy and just the usual characters in this one.
And the CGI looks amazing as well.
Yeah, everything looks pretty cool in this one. So yeah, Thor, Love and Thunder is out right now to enjoy.
Well done. And of course, is it Falling for Figaro?
Yes, Falling for Figaro, opera. This is all about opera. This is a rom-com. We're overdue for a good rom-com. This one's pretty interesting. Basically, a lady who seems to have her life exactly in order rediscovers her aspirations that she goes, I'm a singer, but she loves opera. And she's like, wait a sec, I think I'm still young, I can get into this. Her partner's fine with it. He goes like, go do what you want with, in your life and I'll help you do whatever. And so she's trying to find a way to get into opera music, and they say, well, here's one way. There's a competition. You want to learn to sing. Here's a person that can do it. And we have a diva that can teach you. Who's playing the diva? Of course, absolutely fabulous. Joanna Lumley's playing the diva, and she's amazing.
She is a diva.
She's a diva. So she teaches her. And so this is a rom-com, but also like a finding your true self kind of story.
Fantastic. Now, Falling for Figaro comes out 16th of July. The last movie today, The Black Phone.
Yes,
this looks exciting.
So for all of you Saw, you scary horror, the murder, that sort of thing fans, this is the latest one to come out. The Black Phone, kind of interesting. A kid is trapped by an evil killer of sorts, and in the room that he's in, there's a phone that's there. It seems to be disconnected, but somehow the previous people that have been murdered by this evil man have found a way to, in the afterlife, go through the phone to communicate with this kid and try and help him or teach him how to get out of there.
Great idea.
Yeah, kind of cool idea. Ethan Hawke plays the bad guy in this, and he's quite scary in this one too. So for all of you horror fans, I know it's not October and it's not Halloween yet, but for now, this is probably the top horror movie to check out at the moment.
Always a good time to watch a horror movie, I think.
Yeah, true.
Fantastic.
But this one looks good. It's good.
Well, this is out 21st of July. Let's switch over to streaming for the week.
So we've got heaps of choices for movies. Now we've got streaming. So just coming up now on through Disney Star, Disney Plus with Star, we've got The Old Man. I've watched a few episodes of this one. This is cool. It's based on a book series. They've defined this one as like slow action. He's not, Jason Bourne. He's not fast-paced. This is an old former CIA operative played by Jeff Bridges. He's an older man, the old man.
Yep.
He's got information. His life has suddenly come back to haunt him. There are agents after him. How do these, younger agents deal with this guy? He's quite experienced, and he's deadly of sorts, but he's older. So how does he move? On the other side of it, there's an active CIA agent who used to be a friend of his, and we've got John Lithgow playing it. And oh my God, there's scenes where these two guys are talking on the phone, and their voices, and how they know each other, but they're sort of, one's hunting the other one, what's going on. It's kind of cool because every episode, his life is unraveling, and you get to see all the connections with it. But Jeff Bridges is so charming in this as the old man.
And this is on Disney Plus?
Yeah, Disney Plus, and they'll bring all the episodes up soon.
Lithgow was the guy from Third Rock from the Sun.
Yeah, he's
quite funny as well.
He was the bad guy in Cliffhanger, which I love. But he's in this, and he does this role so well in The Old Man.
Barry's our second streaming service today.
Yeah, so Barry, I think season 3's just wrapped up. It ends on kind of a cliffhanger, if I must warn you. I think each of the seasons kind of do. Barry is a hitman. He used to be in the armed services, and he got bored, and then he ended up falling into being a hitman. Played by the amazing Bill Hader. He's a former SNL comedian. He's in this as the hitman Barry, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Barry has aspirations to be an actor. So he joins an acting group and everything. He's not good as an actor, and everyone sort of pans him, and he's having difficulty with that. His girlfriend is actually an actor of sorts, and she does well. How does he deal with that? Amazing. Bill Hader plays this character so well because as an assassin, he has no empathy, but then he starts to sort of be more empathetic because he's trying to learn to be an actor. Henry Winkler is the acting class teacher, and he's great in this.
Is he a good actor?
He's an amazing actor. He does so well in this, and you can see how well they work together in this. But it's good if you like sort of a little bit of hitman crime, but also a bit of comedy, but also like trying to see how people work their way out of one life to another. Barry's good. Yeah,
sounds good. Now, this one here, one of our camera people was really interested in finding out more about The Boys.
Yes, The Boys. Okay, it's very adult, so there is a little bit of sex and a lot of gruesome violence in this. It's based on a comic book from quite a few years ago. It's serious. What if Superman was just a complete a-hole, like a really rude kind of guy, and he just was mean, but you couldn't see what kind of crimes he would have committed. But also, a lot of super people were like this. Our main character, his girlfriend died because the super just didn't see his girlfriend and hit her like he was acting like the Flash. So this is him finding other people, and they all just go, yeah, all these super people, we don't like them, we're going to take them down a notch. So this last 3 seasons has been them doing it. And the recent season 3's just wrapped up, so you can probably watch all of those, binged a lot if you like. But the main bad guy is the Homelander, and he is like an amalgam of Superman, Captain America kind of thing. And of course, he's all cheery patriot kind of guy, but he's actually just a mean guy. But yeah, it's very adult. There is quite a few comedic elements in it. Carl Urban plays one of the main characters, the butcher, and he does a funny British accent in it. But yeah, it's great. It's interesting,
What other
but it is quite adult.
superheroes are in this?
Oh my gosh, there's
Was it
basically
Wonder Woman?
Yeah, but it's like they take original superheroes and like
destroy them.
Yeah, just turn it. Yeah, bend it. The names and
good.
the style. Yeah, so that's the boys. It's kind of funny. Yeah.
And what about Ms. Marvel?
Well, Ms. Marvel, so for all of you Disney fans, this is the current TV series that they've got on at the moment. There's a few episodes left. Ms. Marvel, Jamala is a Pakistani Muslim girl living in America with her family, and all of a sudden she comes across a bracelet that gives her powers and that. But the difference being is her character is actually a fan of the Avengers. So she's in the Marvel universe, but the whole thing is she's not just a regular person doing their day job and they become a superhero. She's actually loves superheroes and wants to be one, but then what happens when she actually finds these powers, and then how does she deal with that? But also the good thing is it's sort of that Disney element where it's like a young person growing up, working out what they're doing with their life, but also, she happens to have superpowers as well. So not Captain Marvel, it is kind of associated with it, but this is Ms. Marvel, which is a younger person. It's a TV series on Disney Plus.
Fantastic.
It's quite good. Yeah.
The final one, Kung Fu Panda, I reckon this will be good.
Well, it's coming up soon. Kung Fu Panda, with all the movies, Jack Black did all the voices in the specials and everything, but this one, which is coming up, The Dragon Knight, this is the first TV series where Jack Black is going to be voicing Po, the Kung Fu Panda, throughout the whole TV series. So this is the first, the first Kung Fu Panda thing to come up for quite a few years. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, it's great to see that Jack Black's actually back and voicing Po in this one.
I must admit, I think he's a great actor, great singer.
Yeah,
he's just a great personality.
It's great, but it's so good that they've actually got him on board with this one, but for not just for a movie, but like for an entire TV series.
I'd love to see him do School of Rock again, maybe in the
sequel of that would be great. Yeah,
fantastic.
Cool.
He was still a school teacher, I think, the last time we saw him.
Yeah, he's stuck in that.
Thrown out.
Yeah,
so no, look, that looks good, and that's on Netflix as well.
Yes, that's coming soon on Netflix in the next month. Yeah.
Fantastic. Now, thanks to Palace Cinema, if you would like to go and watch any of the new movies that are out, you can pick them yourself. We're giving away 2 of the standard tickets, 2 of the platinum tickets. There's some beautiful images of what you can expect at Palace Cinemas. They have luxurious theatres, great wine club type deals. If you are a member, you can get some discounts there through the club. And of course, don't forget you can park your car and bring the ticket with you up to the cinema cashier, and you only pay $5 for your entire stay at the cinema. And if you would like those tickets, all you have to do is send us an SMS. It can be anywhere in Australia. You can go and watch Palace Cinemas. They're everywhere in Australia. 0439 929 929. That's our usual SMS number. Name and address is all we need on there. And the code word, of course, is Palace. That way we know you're entering for the competition. Thank you very much to Palace Cinemas. And as I say, that's for all of Australia. If you don't want to do that, but want to catch out some of the movie times and places to go and see it, Palace cinemas.com.au. Paul, you got the top 5 this week, have we?
Yes, the top 5 movies at the moment.
Yeah, I think we've got them still. No, the director says no, we don't. There's too many to pick from.
There's heaps, though.
That is fine. Thank you very much, Paul. That is it. Well done. Now, which one of those would you recommend, the movie?
The movies?
Which one would you
Oh my
go
gosh.
see?
I love Thor, but if you also want like a cool musical show, definitely Elvis. But
and
Thor's
what about
great.
the streaming? Which one of those looks good?
With streaming, I really do like the whole current series of Barry. That was great.
Thank
He's
you
an
very
amazing
much.
character.
There's Paul's pick. We're going to take a break. More coming up after the break. We're talking to counsellor Sandy Andrew from the City of Perth, finding out what the top 7 events that are coming up here very soon after the break.
Connect with The Couch online through Facebook, Instagram and YouTube.
Welcome back to The Couch. It's always nice to talk about what's happening in our great city of Perth. For all those people over east, sit back and enjoy the next 10 or so minutes, because you're going to find out about lots of stuff that's happening in Perth, and we'd love you to fly over, maybe enjoy some of it. And to do that, we're talking to our very own counsellor from the City of Perth, Sandy Angie. Welcome back.
Thanks, Fred. Thanks for having me again.
Nice to have you back. Sandy, we've got 7 top events to talk about today, and I think let's get on with it, because there's lots there. The circus at Langley Park, what's happening with that one?
Yeah, I can't wait. I've got tickets for next week. Absolutely can't wait to go with my family. So, yeah, they've set up circus at Langley Park, and
it's amazing, isn't it?
It looks amazing. The tent looks incredible, and lots of great acts. There's performers and comedians and tightrope and I hear there's even a human cannonball. So I don't know
everything.
what that's about.
It's just amazing. The colour, the sound, the music. Look, there's I call it a little bit of circus. Was it Cirque du Soleil?
Cirque du Soleil,
but even better.
Yeah, absolutely.
The company that's running it all, I got to speak to them, and the guy doing it all, he actually opened the entertainment centre all those years ago.
Oh wow!
And he's come back to do this. We're the first state to have it in Australia. Just the stage itself.
Yeah.
$5 million.
Wow.
Believe it or not. So it is fantastic. I got an invite last week, but I was sick, but 4 of my family members went. They absolutely loved it. A couple of the crew went. So look, it goes to the 31st of July, folks. We'd love you to be involved. Check out their website. Of course, the Circus Live. It's got 2 S's in it. But check it out on Google, you'll find it. Tickets are available. They're about $200 for a family pass, 2 adults, 2 kids, or you can be just 4 adults. So it's worth going, and I know you're going next week,
Can't wait.
Please enjoy it.
Yeah.
Number 2 event, the Van Gogh Alive.
Yeah, so I mentioned this last time I was on, but I had to mention again because since our last chat about the show, I've been to see Van Gogh live, and that was spectacular. It was, it's just incredible. You're immersed in Van Gogh's paintings and the story of his life. I didn't realise that's what would be that would be part of it. But you walk in there, and all of his paintings are blown up to a huge scale, and they pick out details, and then there's beautiful music that tells the story of his life and text that you can read. To be honest, I sat and watched it through twice because the first time I got caught up in reading everything and then sat through the second time and focused on the artwork. But, I think it's something for people of all ages, and I hear there's been a huge amount of people through the doors. 7 million visitors around the world. It's incredible. And 65 cities worldwide. Look, it's just a breathtaking tour. Yep. And it's here in Australia, so it's going to be fantastic. So we don't want you to miss out. But don't miss out.
How long does it run for? Do we know roughly how long we've got to go and see it?
I think it's till the end of August, so it's still a bit of time. So well worth seeing. And what I'm hearing is that, it's drawing really great crowds and people that typically may not go to the art gallery, but are really getting into this because it's just visually spectacular.
And you can buy your tickets online at Van Gogh Alive Australia. Okay, Elvis, of course, you can't. We talked about Elvis all day on the show with the movie. What's happening at the Perth Concert Hall in Palace Cinemas?
Yeah, I thought I'd include this. As I was putting my list together, I checked out what's happening in all the venues around the city. And when I saw this, I kind of grew up with a dad who was a huge Elvis fan. So
who wasn't growing up? We had no choice.
Watched all the Elvis movies and listened to all the records, and I just thought this sounded great. So I've been to quite a few WASO performances. Typically, there's the traditional ones that you think of, but quite often they do things like this that are contemporary. So
we've got Gerard. Gerard's the young Elvis from Perth. He's wonderful. He's coming on. He's in his 30s. Wonderful guy. He's coming in to perform on the show.
Oh, fantastic.
But the movie has done really, really well.
Yeah.
Australian actor in that one. And of course, it's an Elvis and Cliff Richard tribute show at the Perth Concert Hall.
At the Perth Concert Hall, and the movie on it, Rain Square. So if you've forgotten that there's cinemas in the city, there's definitely still cinemas in the city.
I think it's well worth the watch. We've been told by so many different people how much they've loved it. So go and support it. Of course, you can get tickets at Elvis book tickets, movies at Palace Cinemas. Just check out the website for the tickets at Perth Concert Hall as well.
Yep.
Fantastic. Now, number 4, concerts at the RAC Arena, including Gang of Youths, which is fantastic. It's an Australian indies rock group from Sydney. And Spacey Jane, which is a Perth band. And that's happening, is that starting on the 30th of July and going through to 5th of August? Is that right?
So Gang of Youth is on 30th of July and then Spacey Jane's on 5th of August. But now that the borders are open, we're obviously getting interstate artists through, international artists through. So for everyone watching, check out the RAC Arena website. It used to be the Perth Arena, now it's the RAC Arena. And, there's heaps of music acts coming through all throughout the year. So, it's wonderful to see all these acts back in Perth.
Amazing up-and-coming city. We've become, in the last 5 years, I think I've never seen so many events in the city. And keep them coming, City of Perth. I think it's fantastic.
Absolutely.
Now, School's Out Winter Festival is happening at the Perth Convention Centre.
Yeah, so this is a favourite of mine. I follow this company around. They often do like fun fairs at Elizabeth Quay. Over Christmas, they did a fun fair at the Perth Cultural Centre for Christmas, and now they're back this school holidays at the Convention Centre with a winter-based theme. I'm heading there this week with my little girls, so can't wait. And there's snow falling and all sorts of winter theme. Yeah, ice skating.
Are you good ice skating?
No, I've never ice skated before.
Good luck.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'll see if I am brave enough to give that a go. But the rides and things that they normally have at the fun fairs just look great.
I remember when we used to do ice skating as a sport on a Wednesday afternoon, a school sport.
Yeah.
And I used to love it. I used to, because I couldn't balance on those skates because of my weight, I used to just wear my shoes and just slide. And no one stopped me for the first 4 weeks.
Yeah, yeah.
But no, look, it's a lot of fun. And can I just say to people, it goes through to the 17th of July. Now, yes, if you're watching the show on a Sunday, it's finished.
Yep.
But those people watching it early on Google and Facebook, YouTube and Facebook, you'll be able to go all this week.
Yep,
so
and they come around, the same company is always in the city at different locations, so look out for them another time if you miss out.
Dinosaurs are coming. That's number 6. And you got what is it, the Patagonia exhibition?
Dinosaurs of Patagonia.
Of Patagonia,
so
is it? Where are they from?
So that's a world first at the WA Museum. They're starting, I think, a world tour, and that exhibition's already opened at WA Museum, and that's running till 23rd of October. And I love dinosaurs. I don't know about you.
I must admit, they do take a bit of my life away.
Yeah.
Look, I remember being a kid and the whole, you go to a museum and you... Not quite as scary anymore, I think.
Yeah.
The Robotronics.
It's just incredible to think that,
Kids will
one
love it.
day these huge things walked the earth, and it's always amazing. I love dinosaur exhibitions.
So do I. I think they're going to do well.
Yeah.
So you can catch that at the West Australian Museum, of course, and that goes through until the 23rd of October this year, so plenty of time, no excuses. And the last one.
You're the last one, I thought.
Barking Gecko. How long has it been since I've seen that name?
Yeah.
They do productions, of course, and they're doing, is it the cicada?
The cicada.
Oh,
Is that how you say it? The cicada. So it's based on a really popular award-winning children's book, and it's about a dutiful cicada. The website says that is overlooked and unappreciated by his co-workers. So it's a story of his life, but something that can, will resonate with lots of people. But I added that on because I love Barking Gecko Theatre and the work they do. I think it's really, there's always so many events on for grown-ups, but this is a theatre company that specifically does things for children,
they're a great West Australian theatre company.
Yeah.
And that runs from the 9th to the 30th, so you've got still plenty of time to go and catch it. Barking Gecko Theatre is where you get your tickets. You can buy them direct online as well.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Now, that's a lot to get through.
Yeah, every time I put together the list when we catch up, I'm always surprised by how much is happening in the city of Perth. But there's just, really broad array of things across the venues in the city.
And you know what I love? That you can never have too much. You can
That's
always
right.
fit in more. Is there anything happening that we're going to hear about very soon with the City of Perth? Any of the other stuff that's happening? What's happening with the parking? Because a lot of people want to know, we're still getting that free parking?
Yeah. So it's still free parking in the city on the weekend. So it's 3-hour free parking in 3 parking. So that's at His Majesty's, Pearce Street and Perth Cultural Centre. So if you're heading into the city, on a weekend, that's free for 3 hours on a weekend. So we're competing with the shopping centres, which obviously offer free parking. And we've had a nighttime free parking promotion in the city as well to get people back into the city and back to the restaurants and bars and things like that at night.
You know that song, LJ
and the
Hooker?
events.
LJ Hooker, you're the best. I have to say, Sandy Angie, you're the best.
Oh,
Keep up the great work.
Thank
you for coming in.
Thanks so much.
You do an amazing job with the City of Perth, as do all the councillors there, but we see you, so we like you best.
Thank you.
Thank you for being on the show today. Thank you to you at home for watching us. We will be back next week. Thanks to all the fabulous crew. Nice to see them all back here in the studio. And we'll see you from this great City of Perth all around Australia next week on The Couch. Thanks for watching. Keep smiling. Bye for now.